Alright. So we're just going to use... And you've changed the title. Amazing, thank you. So... Yeah, welcome everyone. We're just going to be using the... It's ads here. Attempting to do stream production for the stream. We're just going to be using the commentator's screen and the match screen. It might just become just using the match screen. But yeah, hopefully we'll be able to keep the stream going for this tournament so that you can all enjoy the matches. But yeah, apologies in advance for any technical hitches. It's the first time that I'm streaming on Kek's computer. So yeah. The room code's hidden, isn't it? Yes, so I could just switch to that when we're ready. Okay. Do you want to start warm-up then, Willie?
Yep, we'll get that started. Gonna confirm that they're both ready.
Hold on, I've just noticed the... Hold on, don't worry. There we go. No, it's... No. Stream control showing up the... There we go. Yeah, Kek forgot to hit save on it, that was all.
Alright, if we could start warm up.
Okay.
I still gotta pull up the bracket, I haven't done that yet. This is, I think, 1 seed versus 9 seed. Overshadow's set as 1 seed. Icy Storm took... Oh, I forget who they played against. I think they played against Swing in the first round, which was an upset, but also 8 seed, 9 seed, so... Overshadow looks like overcommitting to that. I mean, good to get that out in the warm-up. Overcommitting to a T-spin in that middle there. Couldn't get the eyepiece over the side. A quick warm-up. Icy taking that point, actually. Icy is the 9 seed here, so Overshadows has the seeding advantage here. We're going to see if they're ready to start the main match. First to 7, TAWS U. And they are both ready to go, so we'll roll. Yeah, it's winner of this match. It's our, since I think we had a 16-person bracket today, so winner of this match is put themselves into top 8. All the other winners' side top 8s have been finished. Overshadow has a fractal set up, but has done something over it. Able to recover it though, but still needs both T pieces to be able to take it. There's the first one. The second one's almost here. He's actually able to clean it back up almost perfectly, back down to the bottom of the board already. Well, Icy Storms has been given a lot of good garbage here. It's very clean, lots of 4-high garbage. Looks like the Icy struggling a little bit to get down, manages it fine, but Overshadow's still in a position where they can put a lot of pressure on Icy right here and take a point like that. Not sure if that was the way I would have downstacked that. I think there was a slightly better downstack available, but it's gonna get Icy just barely out. And Icy with the misdrop on the eyepiece has some room still to recover this, but it's gonna be... Could have recovered it with sending some garbage, but does end up getting out of it just fine. First match already at 1:40. And when you see the first match like that, I've seen some long sets, and having the first match last almost 2 minutes already. It's a sign that we could be seeing a long set out of this. Overshadow had a little bit of a scary position earlier, but cleaned it up fine. is now going to be back to the bottom. Setting T-spins a little bit higher than I would personally be comfortable with, but it's going to take the point after 2 minutes 14. Now into game 2, PKI versus MKO, I think that was. I can't say I remember what MKO is all the time. But Overshadow has a good downstack here and takes a point, 101 APM. Overshadow up 2-0. Obviously it's some points, but it's not anything crazy. Overshadow starting off with some TKI, just running it very cleanly here, getting the STSP. And just, okay, that's pressure. We're gonna be back-to-back times 8 here almost. Yep. Up to 8, cancels it there, has a good downstack for a 17 spike, and just not gonna let up pressure. 140 APM from Overshadows. 138 APM at the end of that point. And Overshadow is not letting Icy have much room to lose here. Overshadow's up with some STSP. Nope, that's not. SDPC is that opener. Yeah. Okay, that was a great donation. I don't know where that came from. I don't think it's part of any opener, but I thought it was one of the classic ones where I thought it was a misdrop, and nope, that's just a really well thought out donation. Overshadow's running SDPC against Icy's PCO. Oh, committing a little, might be a little overcommit there. Hard for me to see Overshadow making it down from that, except when you have a perfect garbage well, yes, that's what's gonna happen. Overshadow looked like Overshadow was eyeballing STSD there. Probably was a lot better just to go down, especially with how high Icy already was. Overshadow already up 5-0. I guess I might have cursed it by saying it could be a long set. Overshadow deciding, but trying to take that decision between the dono single and the T-spin double there. I think the double is the right way to go. That could, I don't know what that was. It might have been a double drop, or it was just brilliant. That too. And Overshadow almost back to that well, figuring out the best way to get there. And now just has a perfect stack here. Icy's putting up some pressure, but there's a bit of an APM difference here. Overshadow has this pretty solid advantage. That's probably, I don't know if Overshadow misread that there, but I think was trying to get a T-spin off of that, but there was not actually an overhang that was the right size. But that's a great down stack, 21 spike into a good board state, 6-0. Icy Storm's chance to block a sweep here. And as I say that, Overshadow's setting a very cheesed board for themselves here. And that probably wasn't the play. I think there was a better way to downstack that. A little bit greedy, still upstacking here, already 19 rows high. And that's not it yet. Overshadow's still with plenty of room to downstack that. And taking a sweep win, 7-0 against Icy Storm. That's one of the closest games to have been a sweep ever. it's like they didn't feel like I was talking about a game that was a sweep. There was like there were long points and everything. I'm surprised to have seen this match be a sweep. But then we'll be getting into the next match. Losers top 12 match, I believe this is. They've already done a warm-up, so it looks like we just need to get a game started. It looks like they probably already got a warm-up in a different room. They'll let me know when they're ready. Actually, we're getting some room settings changed here just quickly. And then we'll be getting into that match. Alright, looks like we are good to go, so I'll be starting the match here. Losers top 12 between Fake Runnin' and GZA. And they've already done warm-ups. This is the real set now here. I missed what GZA opened with. I think that was a TKI from both. GZA has a nice STSD setup here. Canceling that STSD, the second T-spin of it, to get this. Board state's really cheesy, though. And Fake Runnin' gonna take first point.
Alright, sorry about this. Yeah, okay, I see Minimal is just, okay, Keck's fixing it. Minimal is obviously just, yeah, we need to change it so that, oh, okay, you changed the dual setting, yeah. Yeah, sorry about that, everyone. I didn't realise, yeah, it gives you slideshow if you're on just Minimal.
No! They had slideshow?
Oh. Yeah, sorry, we've changed the settings now, so you can see it now.
You get more than a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, so now it's on minimal, but you do actually get to see the match, not in the slideshow.
Let's go. Anyways, got back just in time to see GZA take that, making it 1-1. I'm trying to think of what bag this is good for. Okay, yeah, I guess TKI works here. I don't know what opener GZA is running here. I'm not familiar with it. That's interesting. I probably look like a fool. But GZA got a nice well up, has that well long enough to make it so that Fake Runnin' just didn't have anything. Pressure too strong against Fake Runnin' here. I'd see TKI being a favorite of Fake Runnin' here. Lets you have some nice counter spikes too, which I've been seeing a lot here. Back-to-back times 6, it's about to be 7, making it 8 if, yep, but would have made it 8 if GZA didn't top up there, and then obviously had that well right there to, would have been like, probably something like a 15 spike or something silly like that coming up. Ooh, Runnin' setting themselves up with some dependencies here. Able to resolve them, but it was definitely scary for a second there. There was an L dependency, and then there was also the long bar dependency. both of those together were not really helpful. But Ronan made it back down from that, so... Still plenty good there. A big spike from GZA. It's gonna be hard for Ronan to make it back. That one more large spike from GZA right here could bring it back, but got the well open. Clears it up. T-spin double has room for more. And Run's now got a back-to-back, already up to 3. 3 is where you start seeing the +2 from each attack. From like 1 and 2 is just +1, but then 3 is where you start to really see the big advantages of getting a large back-to-back set up. And I mean, it's showing with Run's stats there. 87 APM after a minute 27's quite strong. Oh yeah, that's one of the bags that doesn't have too much workable. I think Fake Run and whatever they tried doing ended up misdropping. I think it might have been an SDPT and or stickspin attempt. But regardless, the ability to downstack and be able to recover that pretty strong from both players here. Both players have been able to recover from their mistakes. Oh god, I've definitely not been scared when I see them being low to the ground, potentially with PC opportunities. It's like I see the square section for a PC, and then I get scared about it. I think Ronan's close to having that well open. It's a good well to have, long enough for both the Tetris and the T-spin double. I was getting really good with these wells here. It's just being the perfect number every time for the T-spins. Already up to back-to-back 6, but gonna cancel it there. I think had an opportunity to keep that back-to-back, but probably didn't want to risk that. I could see them like eyeballing keeping that up there. Probably for the best that they didn't, though, because it would have been hard to keep that up long enough to get to 8, and 8's like, I know I said 3's when you start seeing the advantages of it, but 8's like back-to-back times 8, where you get 7 lines sent for a T-spin doubles. Just, it is really hard to play against that. You have to somehow manage to have your opponent break that, and when they're sending 7 and you're only sending 4, it's like, how do you even make them break their back-to-back there? He's tied up 3-3. GZA got a little bit of cheese there, but Ronan's doing a bit of a lag cannon there, but making it 4-3. Again, first to 7. There's the stick spin and or SDPC. Yep, the SDPC. Not gonna get the PC off it though. Oh, obviously they had the garbage before it anyways, if I'm not mistaken, so that PC wouldn't have even done anything. Run's got an interesting stack here. 9-0, so not the best for setting T-spins. You want, obviously, if you're downstacking, you want to be able to do something with it other than downstacking. Just like, it's really nice when you're downstacking and you can get your back-to-back built up also while down stacking, but having 9-0 isn't the best for it, because either you have to do donation singles, which will cover your well, or you got to try doing... Whatever you try doing is not going to be optimal. Because if you have 9-0, the best way is just stack your Tetrises. So with 7-bag, you'll get down even if you just roll your Tetrises, so that'll work, but obviously not optimal. Now Ronan's in striking distance of the finish here, just needs 2 more points to GZA needing 4 more points, and this is a loser bracket match, so loser of this one is eliminated from the tournament. After this, we'll be moving on to our top 8 bracket. And this is going to be match point now for Vake Ronan. And this is the match that'll put them into top 8, so... Interesting to see how they do. Spending a little bit of time trying to figure out what they wanted to do with that. Way overcommitting to this T-spin. I mean, it will work, but... In that time, GZA had a lot of opportunity to... play back a spike. That's interesting. I think could have made an imp cross off of that, but didn't. Both sides are just extremely messy, but Fake running with the fractal here, that's going to be good for an 11 spike. And going to put GZA really high. Another strong spike just quickly would be enough to do it. GZA far enough down to not make that an option anymore, but still in danger. It looks to be all set and fine now. I don't see too many issues coming, but that might be strong enough. Commits to that. TSD there. Gonna get down early enough for the Tetris, but again, just still in that weird situation where it's like you're not in control. You're kind of hoping that your opponent doesn't spike you out. But it looks like GZA's finally brought control back to their side of the board. Good for TSD there, but yep. And that downstack's going to put him back. Already a minute 40 into the game. Gravity margin's up here. Gonna be making things interesting soon. I don't think I've seen a game today yet go to garbage margin, but I've seen some cool things happen in garbage margin, so I don't know, I'm kind of hoping I see that happen at least once today. Yeah, 2 minutes 10, and both of them are in a very comfortable position. Neither of them seems to be even risking going out here, but Ronan having a little bit of an interesting stack, but I don't see them having too much trouble getting out of it. You can start to see garbage margin starting to affect. Their pieces starting to move quicker. Ronan's at the right height for a TSD, gonna get that there. Finishing out with a 19 spike, that's gonna be enough. And that'll be game for Ronan with 2 minutes 41, almost made it to garbage margin. Almost, but not quite. That's going to be a 7-3 in favor of GZA, and I think we've got a winner's bracket match up here.
That was
take a look at our.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
That was 7-3 favor of Ronan.
Nice. Yeah, I look at Aftermoon, who is the higher seed. Aftermoon. Yeah, one of the big dogs at Matchmaking Central, so they're a pretty cool dude. But yeah, they lost that match, and that does knock them out of the tournament. Because that is the second time they've been eliminated, and this is double elimination.
Yeah, their first game was lost to... Oh, interesting. Okay, so they both of their losses actually were against worse seeded players. They lost in round 1 to the 12 seed. Well, they were 5. But that 12 seed also is top 8 now, so...
Oh, Willie, could you change the name of the room? To,
change the name of the room.
To TAWS U24.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, this is TAWS where we talk stream production on stream. There's no behind the scenes here.
Behind the scenes is moved to in front of the scenes.
Yes. Yes, you're all part of the behind the scenes. By the way, if anyone wants to be a staff, just go to staff applications and sign up, and you can be part of the scuffed fun.
Please, I'm begging.
Four tournaments every week. We need more stream hosts in particular. If you've got, but the thing is, no one has a powerful computer and good internet, which is why we have no stream hosts, which is why we're doing this scuffed thing. But yeah, anyway,
it'll hopefully work. They're gonna go into warm up here.
Okay, cool.
This is winners semis. Yeah. Okay, PCO versus something. Okay, what is that? What am I watching? All right, Multi's has a blitz score. Right, this is Multi. And Multi is global rank 10 in blitz. Yeah, I should have expected something interesting in openers all the time for Multi, because you don't get a 1.1 million blitz score without knowing a thing or two about whatever I just watched. I've never seen. I'm just kind of stunned at that. I've never seen an opener like that. Simmons high here, has a good shot getting down though. It's just, yeah, multi with 122 APM there. It's running an APP of about 0.65, 0.7. So it's gonna be an uphill battle for Persimmon, especially if we're looking at games that are ending quicker. Right, whenever you're playing somebody who has a high blitz score, especially, like, those people know how to play the opener. You want to get those games. If you're not them, you want to see yourself making it past the opener, because if you're otherwise evenly matched, but they're better at openers, you make it to mid game and you're in a significantly better spot than you were 20 seconds ago. But for Simmons, just too high, gonna get ceilinged with that O piece. That O piece can be brutal sometimes. It's like any other piece would let you down stack, but you're just high enough that the O piece is gonna float above the ceiling. Persimmon's burning a single there while Multi is eyeballing something. Oh, are they gonna... Okay, they're not doing that crazy thing that I saw in the warm-up game. But gonna go for a T-spin triple here on... I'm burning that off because you didn't have the right piece to get that down stack, and I just playing slow, trying to... Oh, Tetra healing on the O piece. I was just talking about that O piece can be a little messy sometimes. Yeah, it's like you can... the O piece is brutal because you can get Tetra's healing with the O piece so much worse than any other piece and just not even realize it's happening until it's too late. But Persimmon's got a good board state here, especially now with that extra garbage that came in. Looks, yep, gonna take that point, making it tied at 2s. And I'm looking at misdropped SDPC from Multi. Doesn't have much more time to recover this until, because Persimmon's on a roll right here. That might have been an overcommit because that T-spin triple hole just would not accommodate. So it's getting high enough for the Tetris here and has a good chance to get that well open. There it is. Having a good down stack too. At 80 APM after 40 seconds, it's solid. This is trying to get that side well open now. Doesn't, I guess the next... Okay, they're down stack. The next move has to be up stack then. Perfect 4 garbage there sent from Multi. He's going to let Persimmon have a good spike here. 9, 10, 11, 12. They would have been able to continue that one more for a 13, but didn't need to, and if they needed to, probably would have been better to set up the TSS or TSD anyways. 2 PCOs here. Both of them getting the Tetris PCO for the full 14 lines. That's one thing that happens a decent amount of times is you both get PCO, but somebody who knows it a little bit better knows how to get your Tetris PCO for 14 instead of getting your single double for 12 or whatever it is. And for people at this level, I kind of expect them to know kind of these things. Oh, good down stack for both. They're just passing their garbage right back to each other. Double Tetris setup right here. This is kind of one of these board states which makes me, if I were playing, just want to like 9-0. They're both still over 100 APM. Yeah, Persimmon ending that with 114 APM after, I think that was 36 seconds. Very solid play, and Multi had 111 APM there too. It's stick bag, Multi's gonna roll it. Multi's moving stick spin really fast here. And look, I know it's not stick spin, but I know it's SDPC and not stick. But I guess that's very kind of reasonable. It plays to Multi's strong suit of being a top 10 global blitz player. You'd expect them to want to play to their strengths and have these really fast openers, these good loops. Gameplay where the focus is on fast, not necessarily accurate, because if you spend more of your time practicing in blitz than you do playing TL, you can afford to just mess up and then you can reset your blitz wrong. A little bit different in Tetris League and in a tournament setting. I think Persimmon wanted to go for SDPC there, but didn't put the O piece all the way along, so couldn't do that. Oh gosh, you gotta get that. Okay, there it is. You gotta make sure if you're playing against somebody who's gonna run SDPC or stick and is gonna be looping, that you gotta get their residual garbage there, because it does not end at the first PC. They will keep running loops until you make them not do it anymore. So that's always something you gotta be really strong in paying attention to while you're still in the opener phase of the game. Persimmon's doing well here. Persimmon's a 3 seed here, Multi's a 2 seed, but which at that point, plus or minus 1 seed doesn't really matter in terms of odds to win. But Persimmon on match point, it was 6-3. Now it's 6-4. Persimmon just needs 1, while Multi needs 3 points here. Oh, and that's going to be a point for Multi. 319 APM. That APP was somewhere in the region of like 1.2. That's, oh my gosh. I can't imagine trying to play against that. Persimmon's probably a little more nervous here. Had a few chances, but is gonna start running out of chances. It's gonna be a TAWS breaker here. 6-6, even score. And you do not want to be nervous in the TAWS breaker against somebody who can run 319 APM plays. But it looks like Multi's broken opener. I don't know if I missed if there was a misdrop or something that forced them to do that. Persimmon's got a great garbage well right here. Multi does too, but I don't think it was as good as what Persimmon had. Multi stacking up an STSD. Has a nice 3-wide there. Oh, it runs with a Prophecy TSD just because. Meanwhile, Persimmon's might have sacrificed a little bit of board state for that T-spin, which I would be nervous against doing against somebody like Multi, but it seems to work out. Multi's got got the well covered, is struggling to get down, needs to uncover that well fast, and if Persimmon's gonna keep that pressure up, can't get the L piece over, and Persimmon's gonna take the point of 7-6 after TAWS breaker. It was 7-3. It was 6-3 in favor of Persimmon there, so it was close to not being. It was close to Persimmon's not finishing that out, but he was able to get that in the end. Persimmon's going to be moving on to winners finals, while that puts Multi down to losers top 6. And then our next match is going to be a winners semifinals match. We have Dark Shadow and Overshadows. Dark Shadow has a 24.2k TR. Overshadow's TR is 24.4k. Overshadows with a profile 95 APM, 2.4 PPS, while Dark Shadow is considerably slower, similar efficiency, 77 APM, 2.07 PPS. Dark Shadow has a little bit higher APP than Overshadow's does, but Overshadow's speed is gonna be hard for Dark Shadow to. It's gonna be hard for Dark Shadow to overcome this speed and be able to take a win here. But I could still see it happening. They're only 200k TR apart. It'll come down to who plays better. I mean, that's probably not a very smart statement. It always comes down to who plays better, but that's how this video game works. That's usually how video games work, and they're going to get into the warm-up so I can stop sounding stupid. Yeah, we'll be able to see some of this speed here from Overshadows, potentially. Oh, Dark Shadow running Hachi Spin. You love to see it. You love to see the Hachi Spin. Absolutely brilliant. Hachi Spin is interesting too, because it's one where, like, the board state lends itself to a lot of, like, donation type plays. Oh, and Dark Shadow could have downstacked that, just had a little bit of a misdrop on the downstack. Had a good downstack looking, though, if he saw it. Actually, we won't know if he saw it or not there, because there was a misdrop with the mini TSS there. But yeah, they're going to be getting into. They're going to be getting into their game now here. 1st to 7, as always. I guess not as always. Grand Finals is a thing that exists, but shush, I didn't say anything. Perfect bag for TKI here. Overshadow has a bit of a misdrop, going to make that into a TSS instead of a TSD, and then forces him to break the back-to-back. Meanwhile, Dark Shadow's just not going fast enough to overcome the speed from Overshadows here. We got two different kinds of Shadow here. Oh, does Dark Shadow not use infinite soft drop factor? They don't. Oh. That's interesting. Dark Shadow reading that right to get the T-spin there. Well, that's a well-read play, but miscounting there and only getting a triple out of it, unless that was just an intentional down stack. Both of them at near 100 APM here, approaching the 1 minute mark. Dark Shadow taking first point, 93 APM in 53 seconds. This will be interesting to see how that finishes. Overshadow, I think that was a mistake. I think Overshadow just didn't get their DAS there. But also requiring an eye dependency there, gonna break the dependency by skimming, but Dark Shadow just had a great opportunity to push through that, finish the pressures, winning it with 107 APM there. And that's the kind of APM you see from these, like, 20... Like I said, Dark Shadow's a 23 or a 24.2K. Overshadow's a 24 4K. Higher than I'm used to playing against, but it's kind of what you see in those levels. Overshadow's with a brilliant STSD there. And just putting their board in a perfect situation here to be able to have a good down stack. Smart choice breaking the combo one early there. Able to have that 122 APM from Overshadow in the 30-second mark. And just going to keep rolling. 3 quick scoring plays to get up to back-to-back ×5, but not even going to need to push any further because that was too much pressure for Dark Shadow. Alright, Overshadow misdropping TKI. Meanwhile, Dark Shadow's running with a much slower opener. Obviously, Dark Shadow doesn't have infinite soft drop factor, so can't do T-spins as fast as Overshadow can, but also going to have to deal with the fact that he's running a slower opener. TKI is one of the fastest openers there is. I think Overshadow just wants to play a little slow, let himself get that first piece of garbage, because he's had a couple games here now where he's tried to outspeed an opener and gotten punished for it. Ooh, that T's gonna get stuck. That's a good well, but not enough eyepieces to bring it back down to a stable height. So good position for Dark Shadow to be able to send some pressure. Overshadow, oh, that's a bad misdrop. That's not gonna play well to Dark Shadow or Overshadow. Dark Shadow needs to get this pressure sent to be able to take this point. And now I said Overshadow was the favorite to win, but Dark Shadow's up 4-1. Dark Shadow only needs 3 more to finish, while Overshadow needs 6, so... Dark Shadow's in control, and Dark Shadow gonna get a PC where Overshadow doesn't. But having a little bit of a messy board state there. I don't think Dark Shadow uses 0 ARR either. Now that I'm watching this a little closer. Which 24 2K not using 0 ARR? That's incredible in my opinion. Having a bit of a misdrop there, that's gonna make Dark Shadow struggle a little bit. He'll be fine though. Gets a good down stack and pushing on the 1 minute mark. Dark Shadow's ability to recover from these mistakes is showing really useful. On Dark Shadow with a great down stack. That might not have been a good move. I think that just cost them a overhang. You're gonna get a triple there, missing the quad. That's interesting. Overshadow's got a lot of cheese built up, so Dark Shadow could probably start pressuring. But now Overshadow's worked through half the cheese and gonna be through all of it in just a second here. So can't do that anymore. But Dark Shadow with a strong combo here, and building up a 1-8 well. That's not optimal, but can still work short term. It's gonna let Dark Shadows bring it down on 2-minute mark now here. They want to be in a good position going into margin time, because if they aren't, they'll have to get themselves there really quickly, because garbage starts adding up. I remember seeing from TAWS League a X rank, like a high X rank match that went into like 4 minutes and change, and it was like they were sending so much. You were seeing like 15 spikes from just 2 T-spins or whatever. But garbage and margin time can compound on you really quickly if you're not in a good position when it gets to there, and we're there soon in just 10 seconds, but might not make it, because Dark Shadow putting the Z piece where they shouldn't have is the ceilings there. Ceiling's just one too high for them there. Dark Shadow's still sticking with this, still sticking with... I said the opener name earlier, why can't I think of it right now? Oh my god, that's hilarious. I don't even... How did I do that? I managed to forget the name of an opener mid-set. Hachi spins the thing. Yeah, that thing. I'm amazed that just happened, but Dark Shadow now up 5-2. Had puts himself in a good position with this well. With 11 spike, and Overshadow's board's really messy here. Gonna need a lot here to make it down, but is able to bring it down. That's an incredible downstack from Overshadow, getting there in time for Dark Shadow to not be able to pull a finishing blow there. But now Dark Shadow's coming up on a good well here, but needs to get down in order to use it. You've got your good well, but it's not going to do too much for you if you die trying to get it set up. Oh, and that's... Oh, Dark Shadow, I think, should have went with the TST there, had it just needed that overhang and have the piece for the overhang. I think would have had a good chance of winning that if he went for the TST there. Meanwhile, we're seeing SDPC versus... We're seeing SDP versus PCO. That's a matchup I see a lot. Those are, at this point, two of the most common openers to know by anyone, really. So I guess it's not surprising that you see that. But Overshadow's racking a back-to-back up to 10, 11 here, hitting 12, back-to-back 13, 147 APM over 28 minutes. Oh, 28 minutes. 28 seconds. That would be a long game, 28 minutes. And bringing it up to 4-5, making some damage on that lead that Dark Shadow had earlier. And now that lead's down to just 1 point. Dark Shadow still has a good board, though. Looking to keep that lead, doesn't want to make it tied here after this point. Dark Shadow going with the TSD there, had it with that board state, could have done a... Oh, nope, you can't do that there. You can't do that with that overhang. You need either 0 or 2. You can't do it with 1. As I was saying, Dark Shadow earlier had the choice between a TSD and a mini, or a TSS mini TSS. I don't know which one the right move is to go there. I guess it depends on if you plan on keeping more back-to-back from that. I think the mini TSS, or the TSS mini TSS, would have had a better board state. Dark Shadow in a strong position here, but needs to get down. It's a little too high. Gets down fine. Both players at around 100 APM. Dark Shadow or Overshadow's doing something here. Looks like there was at least a misdrop involved, because it didn't look too calculated. Dark Shadow playing really strong here, 14 spike, and Overshadow has no chance to recover that. Dark Shadow on game point, Overshadow needs 2. And we're seeing the normal openers, Hachi. Okay, that's... Overshadow sent garbage in the right spot to be able to block Dark Shadow's normal trajectory there. Dark Shadow is a good way to get down to that well, though, and is at the bottom of the board, but Overshadow has some good garbage left still to be able to come back from that. Dark Shadow making a decision there that I don't think was right. Forgoing a T-spin that was possible. Oh, it misplaces that overhang, so it isn't going to get that T-spin either. It has that one. It's got a little bit more to make to get the next one. And putting that in the wrong spot, too. Dark Shadow's been making a lot of mistakes at this point, but Overshadow hasn't been able to punish, wasn't ever really in a good position to punish. And so that's going to let Dark Shadow be right back at the bottom of the board. But I think that might be... Yeah, that's going to be a TAWS breaker. Both winners semis matches are going to make it to that because they weren't striking down strong enough to just have it be won. Or have... I don't know what that last sentence was supposed to be. Ignore that. Overshadow might have just... That might have been an accident there. But getting a J-spin there... Get down... Dark Shadow needs to get down quickly, because Overshadow is really close to having that strong well available. Dark Shadow is doing well here. Just needs one more to get back up to that well. Covering it a bit, though. Oh, and that's not good either. Gotta get down from it, though. And at a neutral board state now here. Overshadow building up. That's not good for Overshadow. It's hesitating too long on that. That's going to give Dark Shadow a chance to make the spike back to win. Overshadow's digging for the piece there. It's going to be hard to get, though. And misdrops the eyepiece to lose the set. Still had some way to go there. If they got that eyepiece in the right spot, but trying to outspeed... has got that eyepiece stuck on the wall up there. And that cost the set. Dark Shadow wins 7-6. Wow, that's it. That was a great match. That was one to watch. That's one to rewatch. That's one I'll have to go get myself to rewatch at some point.
Well, you have to rewatch it if we actually remember to highlight it.
Yeah, true.
I need to do some of that actually in a bit.
I always forget to do that, unfortunate.
Yeah, I think we've lost a few VODs recently, unfortunately. It's okay. It's okay.
But
we have lots of tournaments. We have enough footage.
we have how many thousands of hours at this point?
I don't know. We've done over 100 tournaments now, and each one lasts about 3 hours. So we probably have about 300 hours of footage, something like that.
That's a lot of footage.
It's a lot of footage. It would take a long time to cut them all into their individual matches. I mean,
it would take a long time for somebody to watch them all and all.
That's probably
I don't think
over 1,000 individual matches. Like, yeah, it's a lot.
That is a lot. We're going to be getting into... Who's our next match?
What is the next match? Next match is... What? I thought Burgle was doing it, but they haven't pinged, so I guess I need to ping the next people. Yeah, I don't know who it is yet. Oh, you're going to ping them. Cool, thanks.
Yeah, I'll ping. Nope, I almost just pinged the wrong person.
Nice, nice.
Okay, looks like we got the first two in here. Booyah is the 12 seed. Oh, nice. 23,456 TR. I love that. And then a great username, user123122021. I don't know how I'm gonna try saying that. Also has a run of numbers though. Their global rank 1234. Yeah, this could be a close match. Looking at Booyah stats, 58 APM, 1.9 pieces a second. The S over APM's like in the 2.2 range. So looks like we could be seeing some good downstack action here. Opponent, I will just say the word user. I don't know how else to say that. I'm not trying to say numbers because I struggled to even read them off once.
It's user. It's 31st of December 2021.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So you could call them December, I guess. And there's another user with a different date though, like account made. Maybe it was this one. I thought it was someone else though.
I feel like I remember us talking about that at some point, but
okay, they want to do warm up.
They want to do warm up, so we'll do warm up. All right, we'll get a warm up started. Both of these people have really high VS over APM ratios. So could be seeing a lot of downstack here. I think we're seeing that in the opener too. Just a lot of patient play, which might be the way to go, if being patient, waiting for your chance. A lot of the top outs in the last match were just from people like overcommitting to their plans that they made. So being a little more slow and careful is sometimes the way to go when you're playing. Especially in a tournament setting where nerves might be higher, you might be more prone to mistakes. And we got one of those winners bracket, or not winners bracket. It's called a warm up, not a winners bracket. Got one of the warm up matches that last a long time. I'm thinking back to we had a TAWS once where I think it was consecutive. I think it was 3 consecutive warm up matches that each lasted more than 3 minutes. I've never seen anything quite like that happen since. But it is nice to see longer warm-up matches. I almost feel like it's hard to feel warmed up after if you play a warm-up match that's an opener loss. Obviously warm up for what you're going to do in a game, but like you might not get the best warm-up you want if you're running a 4 pieces a second loop. Coming up on 2.5 minutes here in the warm-up match. But Booyah's got a good down stack here. Keeping nice and low. Okay, got that eyepiece over. But that eyepiece, getting that eyepiece over also caused the OP skip misdropped, and that was enough to make that game get cost. Make that game get cost, yes. And we'll be moving into the match now. This is a loser's top 8, so a loser of this match gets eliminated from the tournament. Will get tied 7th place along with the loser of the next match. But also, these are 2 seeds that, even for both of them to have gotten here, it's really, really good for them. Booyah is a 12 seed, while we also got the 11 seed in here too. So it's definitely a close. What was I trying to say? I was trying to say that both of these players, for them to have gotten here, is already an accomplishment. I can't imagine them leaving too disappointed in this performance, having done as well as they already have. But into the main match, we have taken the first point. And one of them will make top 6 at least. I know recently we've seen a lot of upsets in our SS Cap tournaments. Cynium's been having some good runs in the SS Cap rank in the SS Cap tournaments. Has been making a lot of top 8s as an S+. I think they made grand finals as a 12 seed recently. Booyah opening with DT Cannon. DT Cannon's been moving along to be one of my favorite openers. For me, DT Cannon has a lot of counter spike potential. You got a lot of players who will send garbage in a way that's just easily counterable with your DT Cannon. DT Cannon also is really good for bringing up back-to-back, because you can get, after your double and your triple, you can usually get, you're in a perfect position to get a mini TSS, which for only 1 line worth of place, so only 2.5 pieces worth of placement, you're adding 1 to your back-to-back counter. And that TSS also really helps clean up the board, because that's something that can go wrong with when you're opening with DT Cannon, is you'll have the board state you're left with after DT Cannon isn't exactly the best. You can either tuck an L piece under it, or you can do like that mini TSS to get your board state back. The good thing with both of those opportunities, you tuck your L, that's 3 high, you just need 1 more to get a Tetris, and then now you're already at your back-to-back, or you can just do that mini TSS. Clear up that hole. Booyah taking that next point 2-1. I wanted to check again. So yeah, the account that was made on the 31st of December, they're at 23.8k TR. Booyah, like I said earlier, 23.456. Which 23.456 unfortunately is low U now. God, please take me back to the time where that was high, or that was mid U. I missed that time. I missed when low U was 23k or 23.1. Why does it have to be 23.3 now? I'm definitely not coping at all about not being able to make E rank all the time. If Booyah's got a good board state here, I'm not going to be able to get a T-spin off this next thing that he's got looking up. And a really strong down stack spike there, making the score 3-2. A perfect bag for PCO, and that's what both people are going to go for. Both getting the PCO with a 12-line sent. And both doing really similar things to get their next T-spin also. Booyah looks to be stacking up for a quad, but not going to get high enough to do it. But they're both now in a good board state position. I see a lot of this. What I see in a contrast with last match is a lot of these, or what both of these players are doing. They're taking a lot of these opportunities where you could go for a more difficult down stack to spot, where you're going to get your T-spins on the way down. These players are opting more often to just go for the down stack that gets them out the safest. That less risky strategy, it's interesting to see how that less risky strategy is doing for them. But Booyah's side's got a lot of cheese. In contrast, right side, we've got nothing here. Transitioning from 09 to 9-0. And just able to run up enough quads with 9-0 and 09 to be able to take another point, tying it up at 3-3. 4 points left needed for each. And Booyah almost overcommitting there to that T-spin, but decides to board it there, which I think is the right choice. Has a chance to take that T-spin, and a good down stack there. Comes just in time to get a lot of garbage though, so not going to be able to send a lot with it, but going to be able to block a lot with it, which is nearly as effective. Meanwhile, a great down stack there is going to mean that after 50 seconds, we're looking at 93 APM on left side and 87 on right side. That two really strong, especially for, like, that's strong for high to mid use. Maybe not too strong for high use, but for mid use, that's a really good APM to be seeing. For low use, that's incredible, especially after a minute of gameplay. Or you can talk all you want about how, oh, I peaked at 170 APM. Yeah, you did that in 3 seconds. Seeing that after 50 seconds is quite the accomplishment. Okay, going up now in 4-3. And Booyah's got a nice power stack there. A little higher could have made an interesting 4-wide out of it, but I think I was asking a little too much. The 4-wide would have been, I don't know, I don't think it would have worked well. I like to play around with 4-wide. I have this, I think I've talked about it before. I have a weird off-center 4-wide that I'll do if I like have a missed PCO or I mess something up with it in a specific way. It never works, but it's really fun to do. So I do it. So if you're ever playing against me and I start doing 4-wide, know that you've won the point. On this match, these have been some long points, up a minute to 12 here, but Booyah has a missed drop here. It's interesting to see if he'll make it out of that. Playing that to get a triple instead of skimming a single and getting a quad there. And keep that down stack in just a perfect position. We have been looking really strong this game. And playing that, oh, okay, that works. We got a lot of garbage pressure there. Not going to be able to unstack that. Tying it up at 4-4. Are we going to see 3 TAWS breakers in a row? Yeah, Booyah's... The APM isn't high, but fundamentally, it's playing strong enough. I had a doubles S piece there. No, wait, that's Z. Wait. The red one, whatever that one is. Whatever that one is, they had 2 in a row and also had 1 in the queue. So they didn't really have any options on what to do there. You know, getting a T-spin null there. That's the... It was one of those times where, like, you've set yourself up to try to T-spin on both the left and the right side, and now that you've done that, you can do neither. Because you need one of them to be full. I've had that happen to me a couple times. It's just like, I thought I was doing so good. And then I accidentally tried T-spinning on both sides. Booyah's gotta move. Yep, there we go. Needed a move to get that point off because right side was just really high stacked up and didn't have much of a down stack available. Would have been able to get out of it with time, but don't want to let someone have the time like that if you can prevent it and take your point. Meanwhile, this is match point for Booyah. And has 3 chances here. Really strong gameplay though. That's going to be hard to downstack from. And not going to be able to do it in time. 6-5. We're going to be seeing another TAWS breaker, aren't we? I can see it happening. Not having enough to get PC there. Ooh, but Booyah's side's a little bit iffy. Not having the right... I mean, the garbage coming up is good, but doesn't have a good down stack. But we're seeing lots of singles and doubles on the other side, so giving Booyah that opportunity there for going a T-spin, which might have been the right choice, but I think you could have gotten away with that T-spin. And now he's going to go down. Put so much cheese on right side, that's probably going to be game. There it is. 7-5, not making it to tiebreaker. And there we are. Now, actually, I just read back. So that puts Booyah into top 4 because I think did I read that right? Because did Multi forfeit their match? I think that's what I read. I guess someone will correct me if that wasn't correct. So Booyah being the 12th seed there, making it to top 4 of a TAWS U is... Yeah, so yeah, Multi did drop there. Making it to top 4 of TAWS U as a 12 seed as a low 24k, that's quite impressive. Yeah, the next match we have up is the other losers top 8 match. We've got the 6th and 7th seed. We got Westlow, who is 24k with Profile stats, 76 APM, 2.57 PPS. We got and Fake Ronin, 23.9 KTR, 26, no, not 26 APM, 67 APM with a 1.9 PPS. So both here really strong players. They're going to be doing a warm-up, and we'll be watching that right now. Winner of this does play against the 1 seed in losers top 6, though, so that'll be interesting. And that match will happen right after this one, since normally we'd go to the other side for the losers top 6 match first, but since Multi is not finishing their tournament run, is a little too tired to keep playing, which, I mean, I don't blame that at all. I've been there. I've felt that. And you don't want to play over your own limits, because that's how bad things start to happen. And Fake Ronin taking a commanding win in that opener, that warm-up. It's called a warm-up. 30-second warm-up, and yeah, we got, I mean, it's 6-7 seed. All odds say that this will be a great match. We'll just have to see, though. First to 7 as everything except Grand Finals is here. Grand Finals being first to 11 in TAWS U and TAWS Opens. And they're getting themselves started. And no opener from Wessel's side. I think Fake Ronin ran a PCO. That sounds right. Wessel's, there it is, okay. Was struggling a little bit getting that T in, but managed to get there in the end. But Ronin with a 15 spike. Wessel can downstack that, but with that misdropped eyepiece, is going to have a really strong or hard time finishing that out. Not getting the pieces for the dependencies that you need, but head through that and is gonna get down. Really work, but built themselves an eye dependency that's not good, which means that they have to do a lot of singles and doubles burning, which is gonna mean a worse downstack. That's a lot of messy garbage, though. It's not garbage if they did it to themselves. What a brilliant downstack for not only 7 there. The garbage line set, but with an 8 combo, that got them down really far onto their stack. And that's going to be first point for Fake Ronin. That's not what Wessel wants to see there. But has a really good stack here. Good opportunity to get themselves down. Meanwhile, Fake Ronin looks to be struggling a little bit to get down. Needs to come up with something quickly before it's too late. Oh, that was a donation. I see. I was a little bit confused at Fake Ronin's play there, but it worked. It was a donation. All was fine. And both players, it's at 46-second mark, but both players over 100 APM. This is a kind of high-level gameplay here that you start to see in these later matches. And it's going to be tied 1-1. Opener, we got a TKI and we got a PCO. Wessel seems to be struggling to get a spike out here. Fake Ronin set themselves up with a fractal, not going to be able to do both at the same time, and needs to get down, and going to have to burn that off a bit. It's just, again, overcommitting to things is costly for a lot of these players. Around that U rank, around the, like, I feel like there's two, at least in my gameplay progression, there were 2 points for me where I started overcommitting a lot. It was like first in the S minus S normal range, where it was like where I was learning more how to do T-spins. I'm not totally just 9-0ing with the occasional T-spin, and actually like doing a lot more T-spins. And I think everyone can relate to the idea of overcommitting to their first T-spin by a lot. It's like you get a lot of overcommits there. Also in like the U rank range where you're starting to learn more advanced things. That's when you can start seeing yourself overcommit a lot, because you want to do the more advanced things, but you're not knowing when not to do them. As important it is to know how to, or when to T-spin, it's equally important to know when not to T-spin. Because you will see people overcommit to their T-spins, and that can just wreck your board state in a matter of minutes. And you're trying to get four lines of garbage sent, but instead you put 20 lines of cheese on your own side. Talking about that, I wasn't able to mention Wessel's kind of into a quad, somehow finishing a down stack, whatever that, I think it was like a 14 spike or whatever. It was cool. I just feel the need to have mentioned how cool that was, because I didn't get to say it. Now Ronan's going to take that point. And Wessel's, they're both in a good board state here. Wessel's got a nice 6-3 power stack going, though. Oh, but that misplaced that misplaced eye piece that was supposed to go down the hole went off to the side and just blocked the next piece from coming in. Still had a lot of room to work with on that board, but you make a misdrop like that, and it's over. That's why it's I pieces and O pieces that are just the most dangerous, because O pieces can just put you in a position where any other piece would let you down stack, but you get stuck on the ceiling with an O piece because there's nothing to put down. But then I piece, if you misdrop that and you're anywhere high up, you can block yourself from getting to your well, or you can just block the next piece outright and meeting you top out. Both running TCAT here. Wessel's holding a nice back-to-back, though. Having to cancel that, but still is looking quite solid. Rodin's got a good down stack though, 16 spike, and gets 8 more garbage sent on top of that. 24 in such a short time would have been really hard to beat it, because 24, anything over 20 obviously, is what puts you to the top. So if you've got 24, you need to have canceled at least some of that. And always having your board in a spot where you can cancel something at any given moment is a little bit hard to do. A 20 spike can sneak up on anybody. Meanwhile, Westel here running 90 APM, but Fake Rodin with a great down stack again is gonna just outspike there. Oh, is Westel doing the... Okay, no, wait. I saw it the other day. I saw a what did I see? I think it was probably SDPC spin that I saw that kind of shocked me a little bit. And Westall taking it. I don't think it's ever been more than 1 point apart in this match. It's always just been 1 or 2 points. Or it's always just been 1 point. I don't think it's ever been more than 1 point apart. Whoever wins this, though, whoever wins this point has their 1 extra chance to win on match point. You would not want to be seeing yourself going in, having to win 2 when your opponent only had to win 1. So both of them fighting probably really hard here. Because you don't want that advantage. You don't want that disadvantage ever of your opponent getting the match point before you do. Because that happens, and then all of a sudden it's a lot more pressure. You can't make a mistake. The fake running getting down really strongly here. Has some good down stack up here. What's they gonna do with that? Oh, that's a really strong down stack. The spike from Westall there. That might make it too much for fake running to get back from. I think it is, and it's going to be match point now for Westall. 6-5. And Westall's looking strong, but both of them have some good garbage coming up. Westall making a misdrop, though, there, which is going to make it harder for them to just run that through. Fake running with the 180 spin to be able to resolve that. I've been playing a little bit of TC lately, and not having 180s been messing with me. Fake running's looking good. Having to use the eyepiece there might not have been the best, the thing that they wanted to really happen, but still in a decent position. I think Fake Running's overcommitted a little bit to a T-spin. Able to clear it fine, but not what I think they wanted to have happen. I'm spending a lot of time debating what their move should be. Which, it's not what you really... You don't want to be waiting too long to make your move. Because that's just 1 more second then that your opponent can ready their counter spike, or ready their finishing spike on you. But Westall's got a lot of cheese, and struggling to get that T-spin down, which is going to mean it's 6-6. Another tiebreaker match here. And Westall's struggling a little bit to play that, but getting a 16 spike 17, it's not going to do enough damage to clear the point here. Fake Running's going to counter spike back with just 7, so not even really much of a spike. But having to play slow to decide what their next move is, giving Westall some time to catch up. With a misdrop there, though, that's bad! That might be... Yeah, that is going to be game. Westall's going to take it 7-6. Alright, I am going to step out for just 1 minute. I will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Hi everyone, that's it. Yeah, you can give. I don't know. Maybe when you get back, give a hand for Willie J carrying the stream on their own. Use some clapping emotes or something, but don't do it now. Do it when they come back. But yeah, go get those clapping emojis.
All right. So I think
Yeah,
since we don't.
Everyone clap Willie J for carrying the stream. We got anyone in chat with clapping emojis? Come on, folks. No one.
Unfortunate.
Well,
No claps. Unfortunate.
Well done.
Yo, let's go.
There we go. I support Willie J even if no one else does.
Let's go.
Okay.
So I think we got Overshadow versus now Westall. Yep.
It will be. I need to ping them. Yay! I agree, Hitchx. He was totally right. He is doing a fantastic job commentating on all of these matches. Let me find the channel again. We've been going.
No, they're both readied up.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh,
also, Oscar's just added us to the Tepgeo Resources channel again on Discord, so that's cool. We're now sort of semi-endorsed again.
Semi-endorsed again.
Yeah. Right.
Alright, so it's gonna be warm-up time. Overshadows is a fast player, so I could see this warm-up being a fast warm-up. But Overshadow getting a misdrop out of the way at the beginning of the match, that's gonna make the down stack interesting. Pulls a T-spin out of that quite nicely. It's considering going for a triple. That T there is not gonna let you do the triple. Someone found that out the hard way, I forget who. The overhang there. And setting up the next T-spin too while they're waiting. The donation over that. Building up back-to-back. Prepping a TSS. But actually getting a TS null out of it. But that's a strong down stack from Westall. And that's going to be a 16 spike. I don't think Overshadow has a down stack for this. It doesn't. That's all posted up with the little spike out red arrow. And Westall showing that they're definitely, obviously stats will say Overshadow's the favorite hero for Westall, though, showing that they are not out of contention in one bit. Like, yeah, Overshadow's nearly 100 APM player with a VS over APM of like 2.2 or 2.02. So 95 APM, not getting it all from openers. So it's definitely going to be hard for Westall to win this. Obviously not impossible. Westall showing that they're well capable of taking points. We're going to get started here. First to 7. This is losers top 6. And then after this, we got winners finals match. And Westall starting off by missing a misdropping during PCO, putting the long bar 1 too far pieces over. Able to recover that down stack, fine. Overshadow's high on the board. Able to get a recovery, fine, but that O piece not having the... That O piece was probably the worst thing that they could have had there. Because it was enough to let Overshadows not be able to... It was enough to not let Overshadows finish that down stack there. Also playing TKI against Overshadow's PCO. TKI is always a good choice against PCO because you get your one bag TSS or TSD, which will block garbage. Now you do got to be careful though, because if they get it in a way that they don't have to use their line piece, they have their long bar on hold. That's a 17 spike against you. Oh, Westall already taking 2 points. Uh-oh, here's the stick spin bag. There it is from Westall's side. Overshadow just not going with an opener here. It's an extended stick. or not extended SDPC, whatever. 19 spike, 129 APM. Westfield now is up 3-0. See if they continue that lead. Both of them playing with TKI, which, I mean, that was a perfect bag for TKI. Wessel wasting a T there, going to make playing this a lot more difficult. You do not want to waste TK or T pieces in your TKI. But Wessel having a good down stack, able to get back down from that from that wasted T. Has it? Oh, good down stack there. Both stats are high from both players here, looking at a 90 and a 100 for APM. Overshadow's now struggling down. Wessel's up now 4-0. That's extremely unexpected, in my opinion, there, because like Overshadow has had strong games. Overshadow has won their first 2 games this tournament 7-0, then lost to Dark Shadow on tiebreaker. So now to see them being the one getting almost swept here at 5-0 is on the other side of things here, and it's not exactly what I was expecting at all. And Overshadow's gonna be able to get their point. Oh, that's a mistake on having that one piece too far over there. Yeah, that's gonna let Overshadow take a point there too. I wasn't paying enough attention to see what happened here in the opener, but both players' stats did not look like what they normally do. Now Overshadow's on the run back, hitting 3 points in a row. Hitting 3 points in a row to start bringing it back here. Wessel's got PC for 11. Now Overshadow's got a triple-double here, and is going to be able to close out with some more spiking. And Wessel's low enough, though, that counter spikes are going to be easy enough. The stacking really high, though, has to make a hole there. And you got to be careful not to place right in that hole, because you want to let yourself get down a little bit further before trying to resolve that. That's one of the few situations where the idea is not just go down with any idea possible. It's you got to let yourself get down before you can resolve that garbage you've made for yourself. And Wessel did it well there, but not well enough to outplay Overshadows here, who is now brought it almost back to even after Wessel made a really good run at the beginning. Now 2 SDPCs, except Wessel doing, I think, extended or whatever. The stats from from this point are really strong right now. Overshadow hasn't sent lines in a few seconds, but still holding 120, 130. Meanwhile, Wessel's got a lot of down stack with VS over APM of 2.5. Wessel's, that's scaring me on that down stack, but has enough there. Oh, that's going to be strong. That's not as strong as I thought it was. But for how high Overshadows is, that's probably going to be the point right there. That's not going to be the point yet. There, now it's the point. Now it is game point for Westville. Overshadow needs 3 still. And it is... this This has been a great match, and Wessel's playing so strongly here. 1:38 p.m. back-to-back times 8 before killing it there. But Overshadow sends a 22 spike with having 1:53 APM that set. Wow. Okay, no, okay, not DT cannon. I was hoping I was going to see a DT cannon there. I wanted to see a DT cannon. Also, just going to bring that right back down. Having a little bit of a... I think that was a mistake. It could have not been a... It's possible that that wasn't a mistake. Resolved it well enough to make me second guess my decision of calling it a mistake. But APM's a lot lower in this set, a lot of more down stacking happening. Which now they're both keeping really close to the bottom. Obviously, nobody wants to go for too much of a risky thing. On Wessel's side, they can afford to be safe because even if they lose a point, they've still got one more. And on Overshadow's side, too, you don't want to risk losing your 1 point to being too risky. I guess it's a little contradictory probably to say that both sides have the best interest in playing safe, but probably they do. Wessel now up to back-back 3, gonna burn that. Losing a bit of board state, though, for that T-spin. And having a few mistakes there. A little bit messy on that Z-spin. And Overshadow is piling on the pressure. It's gonna be... Ooh, that's tight. Oh! I think still had a chance to get down that, but I think this is TAWS breaker number 4 for just this top 8. Yeah, this is number 4 out of 5 games have gone to TAWS breaker. Wessel having a misdrop there, that's not good. Had the PC, but misdropping the eyepiece. Now they're still going to get down from it, but that's not good either. That J piece was in the wrong spot, which made the Z piece mess up. And Overshadow's going to take that on TAWS breaker 7-6. And that puts Overshadow from a deficit of 0-5, then pulled it back and won 7-6. That's... And ended up clearing it up very well. Now into losers top 4 they are, but before losers top 4 we've got winners semifinal. No, this is winners finals. Don't believe what challenge is telling me. The semifinals actually means finals. Yeah, we've got our winners finals match between Dark Shadow and Persimmon. Dark Shadow 4 seed with about 77 APM, just over 2 PPS. Persimmon holds similar stats, a little bit higher APM, a little bit higher PPS. So yeah, this match is another one that's like, just looking at stat lines, very strong that it could go either way. Works safe, so we're gonna see if they are ready for warm-up. And it looks like they are, so let's roll the warm-up. We'll to see here how the match could shake up. Dark Shadow seems to be running Hachi Spin as their favorite opener. Persimmon with a strong spike there. Gonna give Dark Shadow enough cheese to make this interesting. But Dark Shadow has a good sound stack with a 14 spike. Hard to know if that can be counted as one attack or two, but Tetrio called it one attack, so I'll call it one attack too. But Persimmon with a strong counter spike, finishing it up with 99 APM. It's gonna take warm up. Oh, that's an exciting warm up. This match is gonna be a fun one. But yep, and they are ready to get into their match, so we'll get that started right away. And it is time. Dark Shadow running a TKI. Persimmon's waiting a little bit, but going to do TKI also. Persimmon's having a little bit of issue. That overhang is not a T-spin overhang. A 13 spike from Persimmon. And Persimmon's gonna take game 1-0. Still far from over. And Persimmon's running SDPC here, but has the garbage, so can't do a perfect clear here and can't then start looping it. But you never want to be on the receiving end of someone who starts looping. Persimmon's with a TSS there that opens the well. And with a good downstack there, going into an STSD. And Persimmon showing really strong damage control. Anytime they're making a mistake here, they just seem to be effortlessly bringing it back. It's obviously a very useful skill to be able to have. Real Dark Shadow piling on some strong APM. 81 is nothing to be taken lightly. That is a lot of damage to have to downstack. Especially if you're not canceling much of it. The Dark Shadow opens up the Prophecy TSD. A little bit slower now here. Pressure seems to have eased off a bit. Persimmon's hoping that it stays off a little bit. Wants to get bored into a little more clean of a state, but that misdrop's gonna hinder that happening. Has some decent ability here. Get the Z spin. Able to downstack, but only getting a triple there and one short. Not counting the 4. But has a good power stack now. Dark Shadow needs to interrupt this because now Persimmon's going to start bringing up back-to-back. And that'll be what starts dealing a lot of damage. Already up to 5 just that quickly. And going to hit 6 there. Up to going to hit 7 now too. Almost at 8. Back-to-back times 8. And even if Dark Shadow wasn't out, then would have had a hard time making it back after that, because after your Tetrises start sending 7 and your T-spin double sends 7, and a T-spin single sends 5, it's kind of hard to make up that pace, even if you are a stronger player. You have to hope to interrupt that somehow. Persimmon with a strong downstack here. Ooh, but that misdrop's gonna be probably fatal. Yeah. Dark Shadow's gonna be able to take the point off of that. Ooh, Persimmon with a good prophecy here. Back-to-back times 5, 6, 7. APM's at 170. Caps the cancel down, or back-to-back to make the down stack, which that's the right move to do there. Obviously unfortunate to see when you've got a back-to-back by 7 built up to see that go. And Dark Shadow now has to get this spike out. Persimmon's high enough where just one strong attack's gonna win it. And there it is, that attack's there. Dark Shadow gonna tie it up now. And now it's 2-2, but we're looking at first to 5 now. I always love matches that's like, okay, I'm in U rank, I get to play first to 5 matches now, or first to 7 matches now, and then we trade the first 2, and it's like, okay, first to 5, let's go. Persimmon messing with that T-spin a little bit. I wasn't sure if that was just a. Sometimes it's a stalling tactic to get your opponent to send some garbage if you want to cancel instead of sending. That's always a good. That's always a nice little. You can spin that T a while if you need to. Persimmon's having a little bit of an interesting path to get that down, but able to get down plenty fine. Persimmon's built up some garbage. Dark Shadow's at really high, but I think Dark Shadow has the better down stack here. Yeah, 14. Could have continued that even one further to make a 15 spike, but decided not to, and probably... Well, it obviously didn't matter because Persimmon topped out there anyways. A TKI versus Hachi. I mean, with Dark Shadow running Hachi as much as they do, I see that. And Dark Shadow playing without infinite soft drop factor is automatically kind of puts them in a position where they can't do T-spins as fast, because you can't do it at that unlimited speed that is what makes T-spins so strong in tuning unlimited games, where in tuning limit games you can just kind of you can avoid doing T-spins sometimes, because T-spins aren't as good when you have to automatically wait a little bit. Join to the limit, please. There's a prize pool on that. I definitely did not plan that. Yeah, tuning limit games, T-spins by definition kind of aren't as strong, because you have that extra little waiting period where if you're playing because you have to do a soft drop to get your T-spin. Whereas in any other game, well, in Tuning Unlimited games, you can just drop that instantly. Whereas if you're playing Tuning Limit, relatively speaking, your other attacks become stronger because you don't have to do that extra T-spin in the middle. Dark Shadow looks to be in a strong position. Again, I see a lot of times where Dark Shadow is higher, but I think they're in a better position than Persimmon is, just looking at, like, they have a nice well that is looking relatively easy to get to. Even though I see a lot of times where Dark Shadow's up higher, I still think they might be having the advantage in those spots because their garbage is just so well lined up. And meanwhile here, Persimmon's at the top, has a lot of cheese to get through to be able to get down. Able to get through a lot of it pretty well, but not good enough to be able to get down instantly. Able to get down though, but I think that's the difference I'm seeing here, is that Dark Shadow's in a position a lot of times where he'll get garbage, but he's getting them in a pretty decent way to be able to downstack them. And I think he's playing really well to his strengths there. Well, coming up on the 2-minute mark, Gravity Margin's gonna start taking its toll, and pretty soon we'll be talking about Garbage Margin if it lasts long enough. Which I feel like it could. Neither player's in a position where they could get a game-ending spike. And both players are in a position of being able to defend against what would be a game-winning spike. Persimmon almost putting those words in my mouth, though. It's gonna happen the other way around, with Persimmon taking that against Dark Shadow in the 220s range. Persimmon's got a good opener here. Trying to push a STSD, might have overcommitted a little bit to that, but it doesn't look like it because they come through with the 27-29 spike. And the thing is, too, Dark Shadow defended it. Persimmon sent a 29 spike, and Dark Shadow lived it. And Dark Shadow is down. Back down. Absolutely brilliant. I don't know how you see a 29 spike and do anything other than die to it. But now Dark Shadow's in a little bit of a tighter position because the board state is not the best, but Persimmon doesn't have a strong spike ready for that, so Dark Shadow doesn't need to worry too much about getting topped out there. Okay, Persimmons, they're both like kind of staying in this weird range of not being too high to be concerning, but also not being in too good of a position to be concerning to the other player. They're both kind of staying in this perfect golden range where they aren't in a position where they can end the game by doing a strong spike. Oh, Persimmon's lucky to have that second eyepiece right there, because if this dropped the first one, if they didn't have that second one there, it would have been, they would not have been able to skim enough to get out of it. But this is going to be, this is going to be hard. It's possible, but with a misdropped T in the wrong spot while getting garbage, it's not going to be, and it's going to tie them up at 4-4. I was talking about how tied it up to make it a first to 5. Now we're tying it up to make it a first to 3. Revisiting their A-rank days with a first to 3 here. Persimmon's with a good chance of down spike, but not as good with that misdrop though. But still pulling off a strong down spike. And it's going to be in a solid position to play it further. Persimmon's open up the well, now it's at 4 high. If you go for the T-spin, now it's 3 high. It's only going to get a triple. That's the thing about making 4 high wells is you can't do a T-spin and a quad off of it. If you're a T-spin, now you're down to a triple. Give the 180 spin though to resolve the garbage there. And with a strong down spike, 22 spike, I've Dark Shadow not in a position, wasn't in a position for the 29 spike last game, but not in a position for the 20 spike this game. And both going PCO, but neither has a PC. Persimmon's gonna have a spike there, 12 spike. It's crazy how good of a spike you can just get by having your power stack up and getting your TSD and following it by a quad there. That's a strong enough spike for most purposes, in all honesty. 12 spikes are strong. Obviously not game winning, but for a lot of people, 12 spikes are plenty strong to do some serious damage with. Maybe not in TAWS U, though. Persimmon's struggling to get over that garbage, and it's going to let Dark Shadow send enough. It's letting Dark is able to send enough lines for it to disrupt Persimmon's plans. Persimmon having to change them as to not top out in the midst of